Sales reports. Ugh, they can be a real headache, right? But what if I told you there's a hidden logic to them, a way to make it all finally make sense? Well, today, we're gonna uncover it.
So, this is probably a familiar feeling. You ask yourself, why do my sales reports never match? You pull one, your coworker pulls what's supposed to be the exact same one, and the numbers are different. It's maddening. And worse, it makes you doubt the very data you need to do your job.
Okay, so here's the secret sauce. The problem you're seeing? It's usually not some big, glaring error in the grand total. Nope. The real story, the actual financial truth, is buried deep down in the details. So to get to that truth, we have to start by busting a huge myth, and that is the myth of the simple sale. All right, so in a perfect textbook world, a sale is this beautiful, clean, straight line, right? You get an order, you make a delivery, you send an invoice. Bam! Done. But let's be real, when is business ever that clean? The reality is that a single order can just explode into this messy web of partial deliveries, multiple invoices. It's a whole different ballgame. So what does this messy reality actually look like? Well, think about it. One order could have a bunch of different deliveries, all on different days. You might deliver some things, but not others. You could end up sending out 3, 4, 5 invoices for that one order. And every single item on that order has its own little life story, you know? This one's billed, that one's canceled, another one got rejected. It is anything but a simple one-to-one thing.
And all that complexity? That is exactly why just glancing at the grand total on a report can be so incredibly deceptive.
Okay, so if the big number at the top is just a summary of all this potential chaos, where on earth do we look for a number we can actually trust? Where's the real financial truth hiding?
Right here. This is it. This is the single most important rule you need to know to understand your sales data. Seriously.
Think of this as the golden rule. You have to stop looking at the header, that big, fat, grand total at the top of the order. The real, verifiable story is always told line by line, item by item. That's where the accuracy is.
But why, right? Well, it's because that header number, it just smushes everything together. It can't tell you that only 3 out of 10 items have actually been delivered. It has no idea that one item was sent back because of a quality issue. Every single line item has its own status, and that is what completely breaks most reports that only look at the totals.
Okay, so now that we know we need to live at the item level, let's break down the 3 key values that cause like 90% of the confusion.
First up, you've got the order net value. I like to think of this as the promise. It's the total amount of money you expect to get when that order first comes in. Then you have the billed value. Now, this isn't the promise, this is the reality. This is the actual amount of money you've officially sent an invoice for. It's what's happened so far. And last but not least, the open value. This is just what's left. It's the value of everything from that original order that you still haven't billed for yet.
Okay, let's put this into a real-life example. Imagine you have a big order, $100,000. That's your order net value. Now, let's say you've already billed for 40% of it. So your billed value is 40 grand. Simple enough? That means your open value, what's left, is $60,000, right? Ah, wrong. And this is the trap so many people fall into. You can't just do simple subtraction. Why? Because the final invoice for the rest of that stuff might have totally different pricing, or different taxes, or freight charges. You have to calculate the open value based on the actual items that are still waiting to be billed.
Okay, so when you finally get this logic, you make a huge leap. You go from being confused by your data to being totally credible with it.
And get this, just by mastering these core concepts, looking at the item level and really understanding the difference between order, billed, and open, you now have the tools to solve like 70 to 80% of the most common sales reporting problems. That's huge.
So let's go all the way back to that super frustrating question we started with. The next time someone asks, hey, why doesn't our order value match our invoice value? You're not going to panic. You're going to be armed with the answer.
Because you can confidently explain that it's probably not a big system error. No, the real reason is almost always one of these 4 things. You've got partial billing going on, there were price changes between the order and the invoice, you've got cancellation invoices or credit memos messing with the total, or someone made a manual adjustment. The most important part, it's all traceable.
Honestly, this knowledge is like having a professional superpower. You can defend your numbers with confidence, you can debug reports without having to call a developer, you can explain what's happening to any team in a way that makes sense. But the biggest superpower of all, you can finally tell if the problem is actually bad data or just bad expectations about how the data works. That is what credibility is all about.
So, next time you pull up a sales report, please, don't just look at the grand total. Go straight to the line items. That's where the real story is just waiting for you. The only question now is, what's the first thing you're going to ask your data?